Hi, I'm Dave,
And I'm Paul.
and we're going to challenge you to transform your financial future through the principles of the most profitable business in the world, banking.
We believe everyone should be involved in two businesses, the business that you're in the banking business. Everyday people can replicate what bankers have been doing for centuries to leverage capital and build wealth through private lending.
Join us as we uncover the truths about money, expose lies and myths, and flip conventional financial advice on its head. Here we go. Paul, welcome back. How's it going, buddy?
Dude, it is like wicked hot and humid down here.
You know, it's funny. Everybody talks about the weather, like throughout the country. When I moved to Minnesota 8 years ago, I realized like that's a legitimate conversation that Minnesotans have with one another. Because in the wintertime, it's always a conversation because it's always, something terrible is happening with the weather.
Right.
And I agree. It must be nationwide because it's the real feel is over 100 degrees right now and very humid. I think I'm going to go to the beach right after we record this, go cool off.
You have a beach?
Well, I mean, there's sand around the lakes. We've got more
Oh,
lakeshore
yeah.
than California.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
More waterfront than California, I think. But yeah, they have all kinds of beaches around here at all the lakes. It's a pretty nice setup.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, we don't have a new question to talk about this episode, but you wanted to hit on something that we hit on last episode with the opening question. So what's that about?
Yeah, so one additional point on policy loan repayment. And it's really just something to really think about because it's true and it's a benefit to you. So basically, a great reason to repay your policy loan is that you are contributing to the profitability of the company of which you are part owner of which pays you a dividend every year to your policy, right? Which is going to add value to that, add to your capital base. So anyway, just to reiterate, it's kind of like reinforcing fires for repaying your policy loans, right? You're part owner of that company and you want them to be profitable.
Yep. And whether you repay the loan or not, they're going to make a profit on it.
Yep.
Right.
It's all baked in.
Yeah.
No question.
It's all baked in. So you're right. So that is a whole mentality shift with this product and process of being an owner in the banking system where you store your capital. So it's something that a lot of people forget about. Sometimes it slips my mind. I am an owner of that company. When I talk about the company where I have my policies, I should say my company, not
That's
that
right.
company, right?
Yeah, you get a little slice of it.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right. Well, let's move on. Today we decided we were going to talk about maybe something that's near and dear to the hearts of those of you who already have whole life insurance policies in place or are practicing the infinite banking concept or are seriously diving into this and considering it as an option for you and your lifestyle. And that is, hey, my friends, my family, they think I'm crazy for putting my money into whole life insurance. Everybody's telling me I'm crazy. How do I defend that?
You gotta get some new friends.
Yeah, get new friends. Yeah, well, I think a lot of it starts with who you hang out with, obviously, and do they share the same mindsets as you? You said that jokingly, and yeah, we're not telling people to go get new friends, but at the same time, we all grow differently through life. Like during life, you're going to be 5 different people over your lifetime, easy in your adulthood, because you're going to grow. And as long as you're not letting people hold you back, you're going to continue to grow, and you may grow in a different direction than all of those friends that you have right now, to the point that they may just become, the friends that you see every couple months on a Saturday night and have fun with, but not the people you're going to spend a lot of your time with because they don't share the same mindset, the same goals, the same way of thinking about life, not just whole life insurance, but life in general.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think you said it best when we were talking about this before, that it's a lifestyle. Like this way of thinking and doing life. It's not a product. We're not talking about just whole life insurance.
No, it's I think IBC, Austrian economics, and the things that we learn, the things that we read, appeal to a certain type of person. And we've often said this before. It's someone who's intellectually curious. It's a free thinker, someone who doesn't like. If you're just blindly trusting, the monetary regime, and when I say that, I mean the government, the Federal Reserve, Wall Street, all of it. If you're just blindly going through life saying, "Oh, this is the way it is, and this is the way everyone's doing it," then this may not appeal to you, right? So no,
Yeah,
absolutely, Dave.
you're
It's
right.
those are my
It,
people.
if you trust the government implicitly and you think the government is the answer for all of our problems, then this is not going to appeal to you. And frankly, neither Paul nor I will appeal to you. And we probably don't even want to have a beer with you, to be honest. So it's it is a different type of mentality. When you start thinking like this, it's not like everybody who practices infinite banking shares the exact same characteristics, right? But when you start talking to people who practice this, like I know people who have much different social leanings than me, but they practice this, but they're we find commonalities in many other parts of our life, and a lot of those commonalities revolve around freedom, control, and not like you said, just blindly listening to somebody else tell them what to think and how to do it.
Yeah, I
So
think that rugged individuals, right? Like self-reliance, not wanting to rely on some third party, right? In our case, right, we don't rely on a third party for financing our lives, right? We want to control that function,
yeah,
and we will.
yeah. So when people, I might ask, well, what would these same friends say if you told them you're starting a business? You know, would they say you're crazy? That's risky. Aren't you scared? Or would they congratulate you? What about if you said, hey, I just bought a new BMW? Would they congratulate you? Or would they pull you aside and be like, hey, is that really the best financial decision you could have made right now? Like,
Are
they,
you gonna start? Are you gonna start driving like a douchebag?
yeah, and get a vanity plate. Yeah. So everybody's on a different journey. So I keep that in mind, and I had that conversation with somebody before, and they're like, some people are just on a different journey, and I was like, you're right. So that really helped me widen my aperture on there is no right or wrong. It's hey, you're just on a different part of your journey, and maybe some people will end up their journey will take a fork in the road and go this direction, and some won't, and that's fine. But if you're searching for the truth about something, then you need to be able to put aside other people's opinions, especially when it's a personal opinion. So that's something I'll ask people. Oh, well, is that your personal opinion or your professional opinion? Because that matters. And if it's just a personal opinion, then I take it with a grain of salt. Everybody's got their opinions, and they all stink, right? Kind of
Yep.
like other things that everybody has.
Yep.
But if it's your professional opinion, like that's a different matter. Then I'm going to listen a little closer and
Sure.
ask a lot of why questions, like why is this a bad idea? So, one thing you really need to ask them though is how much do they actually know about whole life insurance? So, did they just learn about whole life insurance from a YouTube video that said this is a terrible place to quote invest money?
Dude, I watched a guy. You know who he is, but it was super annoying because, and I think I sent it to you. This was probably 2 years ago now. But he basically just regurgitated a video that Dave Ramsey had on his YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Same talking points, same, whatever, whatever, whatever. And okay, fine, but a lot of what you said was untrue,
yeah,
right? And I have a problem, I have a problem with that. People that aren't qualified to talk about it shouldn't be opining on it, but there they go. They've got a voice, they've got a microphone, and they pay someone to edit and there they go. They just put out bad information, and people just lap it up like, "Oh yeah, that's right." And it's just,
Well, it's like being the president. You got the bully pulpit, as they call it.
yep,
So you have the ears of everyone who has access to any type of media. So yeah, and you don't hear it is just a lot of regurgitation, the same thing over and over and over.
no, no
And
original thoughts.
none of those people will have a dialogue with an expert in the field, somebody coming at it from a different perspective like us, because what's the point of that? They wouldn't fare well.
Well, no, I'm gonna cut into my business, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm peddling this over here. I don't want you to steal my, my people, right? And everyone needs to make money, and everyone different financial strategies appeal to different people in different ways, and that's all great.
Yep.
But don't disparage what I'm doing or what we're doing as IBC practitioners just because you think it's a bad idea. If it were a bad idea, we wouldn't be doing it in our own personal lives, would we?
Right. And I certainly wouldn't be advising other people to do it. But that's what we do on a daily basis.
Yep.
I have a video on YouTube, and
It's a great video.
yeah,
I make people watch it all the time.
yeah, I don't know if we have a link. Maybe we'll have Jack put a link in the show notes of this episode for that video. But it's, maybe got 80,000 views at the time of this recording and over 300, maybe 350 comments on it. And a lot of those are mine. And I tell people, if you spend the time, if you watch that 4.5 minute video and then read through those comments, you'll know more about infinite banking and whole life insurance than any financial guru or entertainer out there. Guaranteed.
Yep. Guaranteed.
Like, and it'll maybe take you a couple hours to get through all the comments. Maybe. Probably less. But I highly recommend that because you get to see every objection possible. Like you get haters who have just outlandish objections, calling me an idiot and saying I'm full of BS and I'm just trying to, I'm a snake oil salesman.
You're just trying to earn a commission, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, you mean I'm trying to earn a living by providing value?
Oh, crazy.
How do you
dare
make a living, pal? Yeah. And those are the easy ones you can just discount because they're just irate people who are just trolling YouTube for
Which
a
is
reason
typical
to be.
of these times,
Yeah, right. And then you have the most ridiculous types are the insurance professionals, somebody who's been in the life insurance career field for 10, 20, 30 years. And they come out telling me I'm completely wrong about everything I'm saying. And that really opens my eyes. Like, if that person is saying that and they've been in the industry for 30 years, how many other life insurance professionals are out there that have no clue about what they're talking about when it comes to whole life insurance?
Well, I tell you what, there's how many IBC practitioners in the country, and I'm not saying they're the only ones that know how to use cash value life insurance properly, but they know the best way, I tell you that, and there's not a lot of them. So, but yeah, what I have found to be true is, most people's understanding about whole life insurance, or really any financial product, is based on someone else's misunderstanding of it, or downright lies.
So say that again. That is a powerful quote, and I'm going to steal that from you, but say that one again.
Oh, most people's understanding of whole life insurance is based on someone else's misunderstanding of that product.
That is so accurate. So accurate.
Yeah. And it's one of those situations where we don't know what we don't know, right? So, we all have our own brains, our own thoughts. This product, and then overlaid with the process of the infinite banking concept as discovered and taught for many years by R. Nelson Nash, is worth discovering. It is worth looking into, right? And especially nowadays, Dave, right? There's so much information out there. Your 4-minute video is phenomenal. I've had so many people that that are now my clients. It's one of the first things I send them to watch. I'm like, here it is in 4 minutes. Like, this is the easiest thing to understand ever. And should probably throw you some overrides or something,
Yeah, I'm open to that.
But again, we don't arrive in knowledge. Nelson said that all the time, right? You can never. you're never going to know everything. There's always something else to learn, whether it's in your job, or in your business, or in this business, whatever. But you should be in two businesses,
Yes.
whatever business you're in, and the banking business.
Yep. And I compare it really to, well, when I tell people, hey, you need to talk to an expert. Don't listen to one person and get all of your financial advice from that one person. Like, would you talk to one fitness expert like Richard Simmons and get all of your fitness advice from Richard Simmons, like one person? Like, why would you do that? Like,
You'd be sweating to the oldies in no time.
yeah, you would. Yeah, and wearing really short shorts and a tank top. But you need to talk to somebody who's an expert in what you're looking for, where you want to be. So, case in point, I've worked out, exercised, played sports all my life, played college sports, and had a workout program there with somebody who the college paid a lot of money to create programs for athletes to work out and become better athletes. So I have a pretty good familiarity with the gym and exercising, and I've always been in decent shape. But just recently, I decided, things are changing. What got me to this, what got me to 43 is not going to get me to 53. It's just a fact. And I've started to notice that. So I reached out to somebody who is an expert in the group of people like me, like middle-aged business owners with busy families, busy schedules, and all that. And like that's what he specializes in. And before I hired him, and I pay him a pretty good chunk of money to teach me everything he knows about nutrition and exercise and create a plan for me and help keep me accountable. But before I hired him, what do you think I asked him about? I asked him, like, what makes you an expert? What are your credentials? And basically over the course of the conversation, what I got is that he spent years and, close to six figures on his own in studying and learning and attending conferences and trying different things, experimenting with his own body. Yeah. And he walks the talk. Like he's fit, he's trim, and he lives that kind of life. So that's who I went to. I didn't go to just some random meathead in the gym who's training, the 50-year-old overweight gal, helping her do little hamstring curls or something like that. Like no, I don't want to look like you, dude, and I don't want your advice to just eat 4,000 calories of chicken and rice every day, right? Like to beef up, right? No, that's not what I'm going for. So you got to research, and like if you really want to find out about whole life insurance or fitness or whatever it is, there's people out there that are willing to teach you, but you got to talk to the right people.
No question. And like you've said this before, like don't take our word for it. Right? Yeah, we're doing it. We live it. We sell this product. This podcast is our marketing, right, for this idea of infinite banking using cash value whole life insurance from a mutual company. But again, it always goes back to Nelson Nash for me. I still pick that book up pretty much daily. I had to take a break in the office today, and I picked it up and just opened up to whatever page where I had a lot of notes and just reread that page. But it always goes back. That is the simplest place to start. It's 92-page, just book of golden nuggets.
Yeah. Yeah. And now we're getting because he doesn't talk a whole lot about the product in that book. It's mostly about the philosophy and the mindset shift.
Yes.
Rethink your thinking.
The problem.
Yeah.
He defines the problem.
Yeah. And you won't know what the solution is. Yeah. If you don't know what the problem is, how are you ever going to know what the solution is?
That's right.
And how are you going to choose the right one? So I think, veering from just talking about the product to now the process and the mentality of it, that's where people who are using this, utilizing infinite banking, and they have whole life insurance policies, they're taking loans, they're repaying them, they're doing all of that, get back in the book, because you're going to learn something new every time, and you're going to expose yourself to a way to even defend yourself better when, your Uncle Joe, who knows everything about finances, and probably, relationships and everything else, and cars and everything else,
Everything.
because he's, know-it-all, jack of all trades, master of
Master of
none,
none.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
He's going to come down on you and be like, this is stupid. Why are you doing this? And some people, they regress. They start thinking, why am I doing this? I mean, I had this conversation with you because I called you out of frustration talking to that guy who's he's got two policies. They've been in force for one 7 years and one 9 years. They're highly efficient. He's making more growth in cash value every year than he's paying in premium. But psychologically, he cannot get over the fact that he's paying interest to borrow against his cash value. Even though he sees the numbers, he's a numbers guy, and he's like, the numbers make sense, but it's psychological for me. I have anxiety.
Yeah.
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 I don't know how to help you.
I don't even
man.
know what to say about it, how you get over that. Like I said it in one of the episodes, the policy loan interest rate, people ask that question. What's, it's currently 5% for most, somewhere in that 4 to 6% range or whatever. But I honestly don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he'll never, that's something.
Well, but
I haven't encountered that. I don't even know what to say to him.
I think one of the
Other
problems.
than, I'll buy your policy from you.
Right. Absolutely. Because it's a phenomenal policy right now. And I think one of the problems might be that he's put himself on an island, right? He got this policy, he read the book, everything looks good, it makes sense to him. He starts doing it. And then 7 years later, he's never surrounded himself with other people who are doing it. He's doing this on his own. He doesn't know anybody else probably in his sphere of influence who's doing the same thing. And he's starting to think he's crazy for doing it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more, quite the opposite. He's the smartest guy in the room for
Yeah.
doing it, quite honestly.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. But I think that goes back to the power of, coming back to the book, listening to podcasts, and not just ours. There's plenty of other podcasts out there you can listen to and, dive a lot deeper into the nuances of the product and the process. And we'll get there eventually, but we only have 20 something episodes in so far. There's people who have a couple hundred.
Yep.
So, experiment and learn from other people, but make sure they know what they're talking about. Know their credentials. So are they licensed in life insurance? Do they practice infinite banking themselves? How long have they been doing it? How do they preach it? Do they go by what Nelson said, or do they make up their own version of it? So,
Yep. Oh gosh. I hate
Yep.
that.
Yeah, a lot of people call this many different things. So I'll talk to people and they'll say, "Hey, have you heard of privatized banking or the family banking method or whatever these other names are?" I'm like, "Yes, that's infinite banking concept, repackaged,
Remarketed.
rebranded, yeah, remarketed,
Yeah.
so somebody can claim it's their own." So
And that's, to each his own, but I feel like the original's just fine for me.
yeah, why veer too far? It's not like it doesn't hurt business to promote Nelson.
No.
And to promote his way of doing it.
No. I mean, I think the industry at large owes a lot to him. Certainly we do, if he hadn't written that book and you hadn't been given that book back when you were given it and you hadn't given it to me, just wouldn't even know about it.
Yep. And nobody would be listening to our wonderful voices discussing this exciting topic
Oh, that's
on a weekly basis.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, so how should somebody handle that conversation? Let's just finish with this. So somebody's like, okay, I want some practical advice. My dad keeps hounding me on why I'm doing this. He wants me to do something else, go with his broker.
Buy mutual funds, son.
Yes. Yeah. Double
right.
down on your 401k, whatever it is. But how should I handle this conversation? Because I feel like I'm crazy. I feel like I'm stupid because that's what everybody's telling me.
Yeah, you're on the island, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think generally you need to find out, do they understand how whole life insurance works, particularly dividend paying whole life insurance provided through a mutual life insurance company?
Yeah, that
That
might
right
be a
there will
good.
generate some questions.
Right. Hey, Dad, what's a mutual life insurance
What's a mutual
company?
life insurance company? All right.
What are the different types of life insurance companies? How do dividends work? And why am I not taxed on those dividends? And yeah, find out their knowledge, because somebody could tell you something and you might trust that person in many areas of life. Doesn't mean you have to trust them in this one area if they don't know what the heck they're talking about.
Right. Don't take anything at face value.
Right. So some other things you could ask them just about whole life itself. How do policy loans work? And see if they can tell you. See if it's
Well,
accurate.
you borrow your own money and
You
then pay
borrow
interest.
right, and that's what they're going to say. They're going to say you
Right.
pay interest to borrow your own money, but you, having understood this concept and use it, you're not borrowing your own money. You're borrowing somebody else's money, so they're wrong there. They'll probably call it an investment. Right there is a red flag for me. Like, this person doesn't know what they're talking about because they called
Yep.
it an investment.
Yep. Not an investment product. You're paying life insurance premium.
Yep. Maybe ask, well, hey, my death benefit started out at $800,000, but by time I'm 80, it's going to be 3.5 million. How does that work? How did that happen? And
Magic.
see if they can answer that question. Or they
Yep.
say, hey, when you die, the life insurance company keeps all of your cash value.
Oh boy, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's probably a full episode, perhaps, or maybe we'll start with that question next time.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
That's a really
good one
good
to talk about.
Yeah, but
Ooh, yeah. What's the difference between direct recognition companies and non-direct recognition companies?
right.
They're
So
definitely not going to know that answer.
right, and I think asking those questions, and you don't have to be arrogant about it, but
Nope.
it'll expose their own ignorance to themselves, to where they'll just probably just throw their hands up and say, well, it's just a stupid investment. You shouldn't do it. It's a
Right.
terrible rate of return, and they'll walk away. People they frankly don't know. It's their understanding is based on someone else's misunderstanding, just like you said, Paul.
Yeah.
So,
I think we most people, when you tell them what you're doing, and I haven't encountered this, but you said you might have encountered this. I'm pretty vocal about it on Facebook and occasionally LinkedIn. You're very active on LinkedIn. We pay high life insurance premium relative to our income, right? And it doesn't matter what your income is. And I think most people think you're doing that in lieu of everything else that they're doing. They're buying mutual funds, they're buying, index funds at Vanguard, whatever the heck they're doing with their, retirement savings, right? They think that you're just taking that course. I'm just putting all my money in whole life insurance.
right.
And they don't understand that. No, 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 no. I am. I am putting all of my savings there first.
First, it's
It's a
the first stop.
sequencing thing, folks. And then I go do whatever else I want to go do. I'm going to go buy a Dodge Challenger Hellcat, or I'm going to go invest in a real estate syndication, or I'm going to do a private money loan, or I'm going to buy my own rental property, or I'm going to buy some stocks that are way undervalued because the market tanked. Whatever. I'm doing all those things. So that's important. That's an important point
Yep.
to differentiate. It's not a this or that. It's a both.
Yep, both and. So, yeah, agreed. So, great point. But there you go, folks. So, if you are kind of struggling because you're the only one in your sphere, in your network who's doing this, or you're really looking into it, but you have so many people telling you not to, it's time to just stop being a conformist, right?
Yep.
It takes courage to step away from the conformist crowd, to go against the grain. But nobody who ever has gone against the grain, I'm not going to say nobody's ever regretted that in life,
No, no
in
question.
any way, but there's something to it. You become much more confident, and you realize nobody else is going to care for your money as much as you do. So you might as well put the effort in yourself to really dig and find out what the truth is, as opposed to just listening to those around you to tell you what the truth is.
And going against the grain is how you end up with companies like Apple and Dell and Amazon and Microsoft. Did I say Microsoft?
SpaceX,
SpaceX, Tesla.
yeah,
Dodge is still putting like gas sucking V8s in cars, and I just bought one. well, everyone else is going electric, and they're going to go electric too. But you get the point. Go
Yeah.
against the grain.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, if nothing else, you'll have more fun because it'll piss people off.
I have so much fun.
That's so much fun. Well, all right, cool. Well, it's been good talking to you again, and we look forward to more questions. Bring the questions in, keep them coming, and we'll handle a new one every episode. So,
Yeah.
all right, we'll talk to you guys next week.
See you guys. Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. If you'd like to have a conversation with us to see how you can become your own banker, or if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to tackle in a future episode, please send us an email to davidandpaul@theibcguys.com.
And subscribe and leave us a review if you're on Apple. Follow and leave us a 5-star review if you're on Spotify. And please share this with your friends. We'll see you next week.